I hope that you all had enough time to grab another drink or some more food. And I would really like you to find a seat or a nice corner or wherever you feel comfortable. Because I want to introduce our third and last speaker of this slot. I'm here with Kathrin. Kathrin thinks that in a disrupted society, it's all about courage, which means individual as well as collective courage. As a coach, she supports leaders as well as entrepreneurs. She focuses on leading by learning, also on communication, leadership in general, and collaboration. She will illustrate that it's often all about getting beyond overwhelms. That's also the title of her talk. So please welcome with me Kathrin Koehler.
Thank you, Anna. Maybe some of you came because we had a little chit-chat on the stairs about my little light. And actually, it's kind of a nice art project that I'm willing to talk about later on, afterwards. But actually, I think in the carbon communication that we have right here, we can, glim a little, glow a little sometimes. And if we go to a talk like that, we can recept information, we transform it to knowledge, and then spark or glow in the digital sphere. Because in addition to the carbon communication, we have also today this digital sphere where we can set our thoughts, our learnings, and lead by communicating. I mean, leadership is all about communication, and leadership is all about today in the learning society, get your team and go the learning path. So this is my context. And actually, when doors are closed in the digital coaching, if a leader comes to my place and we talk about how he can position himself, how he can communicate or collaborate with his team in his corporate surrounding and environment, how to use Yammer in a way, then if doors are closed, we always get to the point that there's kind of an overwhelm. Like the feeling, the VUCA world, as Jana told us, the VUCA world is so complex, and people and my clients are thinking, actually the world is so dynamic. I can cover it. When I came here in the morning with my Moya, I was standing and reading a social media briefing from a real cool guy who collects every week so much information. I could get off this newsletter in about 40 links, and I was standing there thinking, okay, world, breathe, be mindful, get to your cover, and then don't get so overwhelmed with all the information. This is what I actually myself say every other day. I mean, I cover with the overwhelm as well. Especially when I'm on LinkedIn, reading articles, finding new ideas, I think, oh my gosh, all the others, they know so much more than I do. It's the comparison trap. People get into it. And actually, like, I sometimes think myself also, okay, they will all know that I only boil with water. It's the imposter syndrome that we are all in, and even the leaders are in. So my goal is to get you into the driver's seat and sometimes decide not to communicate and just to collect energy, to then go back into the communicative world and then glow, or even, and that's why we're here, sometimes and rarely spark and really collect that what you have learned, digest it, reflect it, communicate it, and then spark it into the world, but that really rarely. So the sign for me is, it's kind of a mirror from yours. I want you to get into security, into the action, because what happens if leaders feel the insecurity? They go passive. They're in passiveness. They do nothing better than doing the wrong thing. This is kind of very German because we thrive for perfectionism. And I see so many people, or I don't see them actually, who have so much knowledge and so much to give to their teams in the inner communication or outside communication and learning, that they just have to get over the overwhelm. To be self-determined, this is the goal, get confidence and action. So we say, yes, but how? So I think one of the paths that we can go in the learning society with the younger generations, with the generation Y and Z, is to define a learning path with a project, for example, to say as a leader, okay, this is the vision where we want to go, to set the goal, and then actually to find the path together and to reflect on it in a transparent way. But if you're in the overwhelm situation and you don't communicate, you can't be transparent on your team and tell them, okay, this is my vision and where are we right now? I had a little project as a consultant in a German DAX 30 with an intranet project where we consolidated 360 intranets into one. And actually, I was doing interviews with stakeholders, as we say today, and I was assessing the intranet. And what I found was the story of Kelly. Kelly was mentioned by the stakeholders, and I also found her formats in the intranet. She was vice president, and she flew all around the world and communicating on that, saying, okay, this is the kind of status that we have right now with our project. And then she took her travels, collected the new thoughts of her teams and her peers, digested it, and did it in the one posting that had many, many, many comments. They were all on this. It was kind of a channel where the discussion on that topic came through. And she was very well known, very transparent, and she led through this learning path. She set a learning path and then moderated her team through it. That was very smart, and she was very well known for that. So she had the goal, she had a strategy. Actually, then I asked her and researched that because she was very strategic on that. So leading through learning is kind of way. Actually, I want to know from your part right now, please raise your hands. Have you set yourself objectives for a learning step, for a next learning step? Who did? Who does? Great, because actually this is kind of the one first step to go sparking, you know? And do you prefer learning by yourself? Who does? Like being on their own by learning? Oh, not so much hands, actually. Is it a yes or a no? Okay, because today in this networked world, it's the no here that is going to get you into sparkling because you get inspired. The 1 and 1 is more than the 2, as we know in this VUCA world. And there, I mentioned it already. Do you share your reflection and results in your collaborating network on the digital side? You know, this is the next step. The digestion and reflection and make it visible. Sure, here is the sparking moment. I have a look at the time. Yes, okay. So actually, you on your learning path, to find kind of an idea and the concept how you can go with your team through it. Maybe you know this kind of bubble. You know, you're in your comfort zone, and if you have a new project, you feel fine, and then there comes the fear zone, where you don't have the self-consciousness of, oh, no problem, I know how to do it. And it's acceptable for every other learning path and every other project that you want to thrive. So the fear zone, as I see it in my coaching, for some people, it's just a small step to, something new, okay, I do it. But for others, it's a bright section where they sneak around, look from every other side before they do the next step in the learning or the growth zone. So we want to spark. What to do? I said it already, set goals. You know, in every communication, I think it's very good and to have a small strategy on a piece of paper. What do I want to achieve? Like your canvas, you know? Like writing is as a therapy. And then you put it away and you just go your way. Find peers. Maybe some of you are already working out loud, you know, and find peers that are really diverse. I like this emoji because of the pink hair from the girl. Find people who are not like you. You know, this is kind of a success factor. And then decide in which channel, internally in your corporation or externally on the digital networks, you're going to be more visible. And step by step and small steps, please. Seriously, it comes ever and ever again, this personal, individual feeling of, it is too much. It is too much. So, as we have seen, the concept of the learning way, you know, set the overwhelm here as default. Go there, embrace it, accept the overwhelm, you know? And make it for you, make it visible. Where am I now? Think about it. Does it feel okay to talk about yes, no? If not, reflect again and talk with your peers. One warning. If you want to spark and get outside and be transparent, you can do too much. I just have the experience of a CXO. She did too much and she was actually fired because she was so dominant in her communication. So if you spark rarely. Better glow sometime, yeah, you know, and if you digest your thoughts and your reflections. But don't go too far. And my last thought, if you hide your knowledge that you have on your hard drive, you will never spark. So there's kind of a, you know, you have to get out, you have to get visible, and there are strategies to cope with that. Please find your decision, whether you glow sometimes, or if you really prepare, get much energy to spark outside, to get the feedback from your audience, as I hope to get now from you. So my talk is over. The first step that you could do now is to reflect yourself on LinkedIn. Go there. I will post after the talk a little chart there. And if you'd like to show up, then I'm eager for comments from you and to find the discussion over there in the digital sphere. And yeah, looking forward to our discussion right now. And as I always say, let's connect. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing this. I'm again and again really impressed how well our speakers are prepared, because it's really not as simple as it might seem to break a really complex topic down to only 12 minutes. So thank you so much for your effort and your really nice slides. And if you want to know more about the topic, then it's your turn now to ask your questions. Otherwise, I will use the time to give some compliments. I really like the idea of your flower. It's like you can really get a feeling of what you're talking about with these two sides, and you turn it around.
It's kind of a metaphor, and actually it's an art project from Olafur Eliasson. I really adore him. He's in Tate, London right now, and I'm collecting money to go there. And he, if you buy one of those in Europe, in Africa, one can buy it for very affordable money, and the kerosene inhalation is stopped, and we all have the sun, and so we can, spend some light with this project. 30 euros, and very nice for all the children, and it's a perfect night lamp.
Great. If you have any questions, just raise your hands. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Kathrin, for your presentation. What I really liked about it was the examples you gave. And what I'd like to hear more of is how can we start today to spark more, every one of us? Just could you provide us with one or two more ideas on how to start right now on this conference?
Okay. Yeah, actually, In sparking, I think there's no spontaneity. If you really want to spark, you find your topic, you collect, you find your own point of view. I mean, everything is said from everybody, but not from you. So to have the confidence to say, okay, my thoughts are important to give it on a topic, but then I think there has to be some reflection and some kind of newness in what you are telling. And to spark, there's some kind of planning necessary, but to glow every other day, you know, to get to communicate and be aware, that's possible on the everyday basis. This is more the daily, you know, like being here and going outside and reflecting. What was my main take away from the 12 hours us? Could be an example to how to spark. Like, not, I've been here, it was nice. You know, but what is your main learning? What do you take away? And your network is interested. And the leader who does this can set the vision in reflections, you know, in showing up for everybody. And digital communication is scaling. You know, you tell it once, and everyone will see it. And you like, if you like a team member as a leader, it's like gold dust, you know, that you spread.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So there are two more questions, I think. One is from Mika.
Thank you. I'm Mika. Thank you, Kathrin, for your talk. I really loved it. Could you elaborate more on the difference between glow and spark? I did understand so far that sparking is going more outside in the social media channels, or maybe.
Yeah, if you decide to be there, you can glow there as well. It's more the everyday social media business. This is for me the glowing. Like every other day, you send a message. But actually, I think less is more. Don't over communicate. This is what.
But this is like the sparking or the glowing part.
No, this is the glowing part as well. So less is more. If you really are on a topic and take your team with it, it's not the everyday thing, you know. It's more like a weekly or monthly. And the sparking, I see it once or twice a year. It's really going, getting out with a podcast, something like that.
Okay, so a bigger thing.
Yes, it's a bigger thing.
Thank you.
And you have to prepare. Kind of a really sometimes a resume of your daily topics. If you really get the point and have a strong message, that would be a spark in my opinion.
So being online, telling the world about this wonderful conference could be glowing or could also be sparking.
You sparked a lot. I mean, you did the sparking for that, and some of your colleagues, when they sparking would be from a strong. Between the glow and the spark would be my video when I prepared, you know, and gave it to 12 Hours Us. That was some of a little spark, and to have I think every other month I communicate on my podcast, Digital You, and there I reflect. It's a working out loud, and it's not every time a real spark, but if I have a cool partner in communicating, like once I had with the Siemens communication team member, and that was a great spark because I had a cool message and reach that has to come together. I mean, the spark has to be seen, you know. You have to think about how to achieve reach. Totally a different topic, not enough for 12 minutes, I'm sorry.
All right, so thank you very much for answering all these questions, for your time,
Welcome.
and for your really nice presentations. So go out, get your learnings, and spark about 12 Hours Us.